going on, everybody? Welcome back to another TNC Sportscast, and today we're going to be doing our Week 7 rankings for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. If you haven't already, go check out the TikTok and Instagram at TNC Sportscast. Go like the video, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when we're posting. And other than that, let's get to the video. All right, let's start off with our quarterbacks, as you can see next to me. At number 1, Lamar. He's going to be with number 1 mostly every week. He has such big rushing upside, and he's just slinging the ball lately. He's looking like MVP Lamar. I say it every week, but he just does. And he has Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews was catching some balls, which is, I mean, everybody loves that. We drafted him high, and he didn't do crap for the last the start of the season. But now he's actually doing something, so that's good. But no, yeah, Lamar at 1 playing Tampa Bay, I think is going to be a great game. I think there's a lot of really good games this week. But no, I think Lamar's going to have a really good game this week against Tampa Bay. And honestly, either one of them could win, but I think Lamar's going to be slinging the ball to keep up with the Tampa Bay offense. At number 2, Jayden Daniels against Carolina. I think this is going to be a blowout. I think Jayden Daniels is going to use his legs. I think he's going to be slinging the ball to Terry McLaurin. I think Carolina's defense just isn't going to be able to contain that offense, especially if they get Brian Robinson back. They can start using that running game more. It just kind of seemed a little off without him last week. So I think Jayden Daniels will have a good game. At 3, Josh Allen against the Tennessee Titans. Still going to use his legs. He now has his number 1 wide receiver in Amari Cooper. We did say in our other video that Amari Cooper's probably a sit this week just to get acclimated into that offense. But no, I think Josh Allen's going to have a good game against the Tennessee Titans. At number 4, Jalen Hurts against the Giants. I think they're going over there. I think Saquon's going to have, we'll get to him later, but I think Jalen Hurts is still going to have a good game. I think he's going to be passing to Devontae, A.J. Brown, even maybe Jahan Dotson if they can get the ball out that way. But no, I think he's going to have a good game. New York's secondary really isn't that good, so I think he's going to be slinging the ball. At number 5, Baker Mayfield against the Baltimore Ravens. Like I said, with Lamar, I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I think it's honestly going to be a shootout. I think both these offenses are really good, and both the defenses are decent, but I just think these offenses are about to go crazy. I think Baker's going to be slinging the ball. He's been having over 20 points almost every single game this year. I think he's quarterback 2 on the year for fantasy, so I think he's going to have another good week. Number 6, Jordan Love, my boy, playing the Houston Texans. Another really good game. I'm really looking forward to watching. I think, like I said, similar with like the Baltimore Ravens and Bucs game, I think this is going to be a shootout. I think the high-powered Houston offense and the high-powered Green Bay offense is just going to try to one-up each other, and whoever has the ball at the end is probably going to win the game. That's how I feel personally. But no, I think Jordan Love's going to have a really good game slinging the ball. He's been having 2 touchdowns, or he had 4 touchdowns last week, and he's been having at least 2 touchdowns almost every single week that he's been playing. So that's always good for fantasy. Number 7, Geno Smith against Atlanta. I think he's going to have a really good game. I think he's going to use his legs. I think he's going to be slinging the ball. Atlanta's secondary is kind of They have Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, A.J. Terrell, so it's not a bad unit. But I just think DK, JSN, Tyler Lockett, even Noah Fant might be utilized really well. And I think Kenneth Walker, he does have illness, but I think he's probably still going to play, and I think Geno's going to have a good game. Number 8, Kirk Cousins against Seattle. I think this is also going to be a good game between Atlanta and Seattle. I think Kirk Cousins has been slinging the ball. He's got Drake London. He's got Darnell Mooney. Kyle Pitts has been getting utilized. I really think that Kirk Cousins is just going to continue to sling the ball, even giving it to Bijan. I think he's going to have a good amount of passing yards and probably a couple touchdowns. Number 9, C.J. Stroud. Same thing with Jordan Love. Like I said, these offenses are just going to try to one-up each other. I think they're both going to have probably mid to high 20s for points, Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. So I think, like I said, they're both going to have really good games, and I think they're going to get a lot of touchdowns passing. Number 10, Sam Darnold after the bye week going against Detroit. A lot of people are saying these guys are going to combine for like 600 yards between the two, over 300 each. I hope. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of good games. I think Detroit could be the one to knock off the Vikings from continuing to go undefeated. But I still think Sam Darnold's going to have a good game thrown. I think he has Hawkinson back this week. He has Jay Jettis, Jordan Addison. But no, I think this is a really solid top 10 list.
All right, moving on over to our running back rankings. At number 1, like always, Saquon Barkley. He's going to be here the rest of the year, and he's going against his old team, the New York Giants, and he's about to show them why they shouldn't have gotten rid of him. Number 2, Kyron Williams against the Las Vegas Raiders. I could easily see him having 2 touchdowns this game. He's the only guy on this team that will score, and this low-key could be a high-scoring game. Number 3, Derrick Henry against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Derrick Henry is leading the league in every statistical thing for running backs right now, and he has more rushing yards than Will Levis does passing yards. So I think obviously Derrick Henry is going to keep balling out right now. Number 4, Kenneth Walker. Bro is looking like a wide receiver. He's averaging probably 6 catches a game from the past 5 games, and he's playing against the Atlanta Falcons, which is going to definitely be a high-scoring game, and they're going to really have to use Kenneth Walker if they're going to want to win this game. Number 5, Joe Mixon. He's been looking so good. Who would have thought that he would have gone from the Bengals to the Texans and ball out on this high-powered offense with all of these weapons at wide receivers? But they're playing against the Green Bay Packers, and they're going to have to use their playmakers if they want to win this game. Number 6, Alvin Kamara. In my opinion, it's a pretty tough matchup against the Denver Broncos defense. But Alvin Kamara is Alvin Kamara. He's going to catch dump down passes from the rookie, and he's going to make some plays. It's Alvin Kamara. Number 7, Bijan Robinson. Like I said, this Seahawks-Falcons game is going to be a great game, and Kirk Cousins is looking so good. Bijan's going to catch a couple passes. He's going to run the ball. I could see him even scoring another touchdown and keep the train rolling. Number 8, Breece Hall. He finally had his breakout game. Thank the Lord. I was waiting for it. But he's playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, which lets him drop a little bit. But Breece Hall is Breece Hall. I think this new offense is going to work really well with him. And I think the Jets could low-key easily win this game, so I think they're going to run the clock out. Number 9, J.K. Dobbins, our start for running back of the week. He's been playing so well. 25 carries last week, which is a career high. He's playing against an easy Arizona run defense, and I think he is going to probably put up more than 20 points this week. Number 10, finally, Tony Pollard against Buffalo Bills. Another guy that was lower in the draft rankings, but he's been playing really well. Tajay Spears is hurt, and he's that number 1 bell cow guy, and he's going to get a lot of carries against this Buffalo defense who let Breece Hall have 20 points, so I think Tony Pollard could do well as well. But that's my rankings for running backs.
All right, moving over to our wide receiver rankings. At number 1, we have Justin Jefferson going up against the Detroit Lions. Like I said before, I think this is going to be a really high-scoring game. I think he's going to get a lot of targets. I know I said it previously in the video, but I actually went and checked. I don't think TJ Hawkinson is playing this week, so I think Justin Jefferson will get even more targets and be utilized. Probably Jordan Addison will get some targets too, because I think it's just going to be just trying to one-up each other on the offenses. Whoever scores last is probably going to win the game. Number 2, Jamar Chase against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns don't have a bad defense, but the Burrow to Chase connection has been so strong this year, and I think Jamar Chase is going to have another big game this week against the Browns. At number 3, he's back. Malik Neighbors going against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's going to get all those targets that he's been missing out on. I think Daniel Jones is going to get him the ball. I think he's going to have a very good week against it's not a bad secondary in Philadelphia, but they definitely have given up some long touchdowns, and I think Malik Neighbors could easily have a really big week. Number 4, A.J. Brown going against the New York Giants. The New York Giants secondary is not very good. I think A.J. Brown is probably going to eat and have a lot of yards against his secondary. But no, I think Jalen Hurts is going to get him the ball. That's why Jalen Hurts was up in our rankings as well. I think Devontae Smith's going to get the ball, and I just think A.J. Brown's going to have a really big week this week. Number 5, Amon-Ra against Minnesota. Same thing with Justin Jefferson. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think they're both going to get a ton of targets, but I just think there's a couple receivers between Jefferson and Amon-Ra. That's why he's at 5. Number 6, Drake London against Seattle. Drake London's been absolutely cooking right now with Kirk at quarterback. I think he's going to have another good game. Again, it is a tough Seattle defense, but I think he's still going to be able to get those receptions, and he definitely gets the targets from Kirk. So I think he's going to have another really good game. Number 7, Chris Godwin going against Baltimore. Who would have thought Chris Godwin was going to be like the number 1 receiver in fantasy this year? Like, people were drafting him in the 6th and 7th rounds. Like Coop did. Yeah, I didn't. He did. But no, I think Chris Godwin's going to have another good game against Baltimore. He's been looking way better than Mike Evans. And him in the slot, Baker's been getting him the ball, and he's been getting tons of run after catch yards. So he's going to have another good game. Number 8, Deontay Johnson actually is at our 8th spot, and he's playing Washington. I think he's going to have a really good week this week against a very, very bad secondary. I think him and even maybe Xavier Legette, both those Panthers wide receivers are going to have a really, really nice day against a very, very bad Washington Commanders secondary. Number 9, DK Metcalf. I've been having a couple of off games, But I think this is his bounce back week. I think he's going to have a good week against the Falcons with Geno throwing him the ball. I think he's been getting the targets, but he's had a kind of an issue dropping balls. Been blaming it on other people, but come on, DK, that's you. You got to do better. But no, I think he's going to have a good game. And then finally, number 10, Jayden Reed, my boy, Green Bay Packers, going against the Houston Texans. I think Jayden Reed, for them to win, if the Packers win this game, Jayden Reed has to be involved a lot. I think they have to get him the ball. They have to use him on like different runs as well, because they've been doing that and it's been working. So I think him and all the Packers receivers have to have a good game for the Packers to beat the Texans.
All right, moving on over to our last rankings of the week, tight ends. At number 1, George Kittle. Like always, I mean, he's been number 1 for this past couple weeks. It's just because, again, so many targets from Brock Purdy. Their connection has been looking so good this year, and he's actually scoring touchdowns, which makes him number 1. He's playing against a tough Kansas City Chiefs defense, but if they want to win this game, they're going to really have to use their playmakers, and I think George Kittle is going to have a big day. Number 2, on the opposite side of the field, Travis Kelce. He's the only guy that can catch balls left on their team, and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce really have to build that connection that they've had for so long if they want to build this game. So I think Travis Kelce is also going to have a good game. Number 3, Brock Bowers. I could easily see him at being the number 1 guy after this week ends, but he's just looking so good. He's looking like a wide receiver 1. He's getting 9 targets like in the past 2 games, and he's playing against a so Los Angeles Rams defense. So I think he's going to have a big week this week. Number 4, Evan Ingram, playing against the New England Patriots. Their secondary is pretty good, so I think they could look towards Evan Ingram's way. And he's coming off a big game of 10 catches and 100 yards, so I think he could really bounce and keep that going. Number 5, Sam Laporta, playing against the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of people, like Tarek said, this game could have a lot of points. And Sam Laporta is being involved actually now, and he's gotten touchdowns this past couple weeks, and I think he could really carry that over into this week. Number 6, Trey McBride, another guy that's looking like that number 1. If Marvin Harrison is playing this week, so he is that number 2 option, but he's just been getting so many plays that are targeted towards him, and I think he's going to have a huge week against the Chargers, which is going to be a good back and forth game in my opinion. Number 7, Kyle Pitts. Surprisingly, he's pretty high, but the Seattle Seahawks, I feel like this game is going to be high scoring. It's going to be both offenses are going to be fighting back and forth because Kirk Cousins is going to be firing towards Kyle Pitts. They're going to be feeding their playmakers, and there's going to be a high scoring game. Number 8, Tucker Kraft, another guy that had a little dip last week, but he's had those big, huge weeks, and Jordan Love loves to target Tucker Kraft, and I feel like they're going to be really passing the ball this game because they're not going to blow the Houston Texans out, so it's going to be a close game. Number 9, it is our risk of the week, Dalton Kincaid, but he is better, in my opinion, than the rest of the tight ends that are on this list. But he's playing against a tough Tennessee Titans defense, allowing the least amount of points to tight end, so that's why we have him so low. And Amari Cooper's in town. Number 10, finally, Cade Otton playing against the Baltimore Ravens. He did have a touchdown last week, the first one of the season, so maybe he could build onto that game and keep it going into this week. And this game's going to be a really good game, high scoring, so I think they're going to really have to give it to their playmakers. But, like always, boys, if you like the video, make sure to go down, hit that like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we are posting videos. TikTok, Instagram, at TNC Sportscast. We've been posting a bunch on there, so go follow them as well. We'll be posting a lot of videos coming soon, and I'm sorry this video was a little late this week, but we were both busy with midterms and stuff like that. But we always want to be posting videos for you guys. And like always, see ya!